Part 1. The Silent Leviathan. The Resurrection. November 21st, 1944. The Formosa Strait is pitch black. At 0300 hours, torpedoes turn the night into thunder. The Kongō, 30,000 tons of riveted steel, should have been immortal. Instead, she exploded. 1,200 souls vanished into the abyss. History teaches us to breathe easy. Post-war Japan is pacifist. Article 9 promises, but silence is not surrender. Today, in Sasebo, a silhouette sits where it should not. The name on the hull reads Kongō, not a ghost of the past, a ghost rebuilt. This is technological necromancy. The Kongō-class carries Aegis, the deadliest naval software ever written. America handed it over. Japan mutated it. And buried deep in a Pentagon logbook, there is a single line about this ship. The entire page is redacted. From clandestine speed overdrives to radar rumored to track things beyond physics, we are about to open the classified file of DDG-173. Why does a pacifist nation need a ship that can lock 200 targets? What did Kongō see that summer night in 2018? Welcome to the Resurrection. Part 2. The Forbidden Anatomy. To understand the anomaly, we must first look at the blueprint. In the late 1980s, the Cold War was thawing, but the Pacific remained a chessboard of silent threats. Japan needed a shield. They wanted the Aegis Combat System, the shield of the fleet. At the time, the Pentagon treated Aegis like a holy relic. It was the crown jewel of American naval supremacy, a computerized brain capable of tracking hundreds of missiles simultaneously. Washington was hesitant. Handing this technology to Tokyo wasn't just a sale, it was a massive geopolitical gamble. But the deal was signed, and this is where the story deviates from the history books. The contract stipulated that Japan would build the ships domestically. The hulls were laid down at Mitsubishi Heavy Industries in Nagasaki and IHI Marine United in Tokyo. Officially, the Kongō-class is a derivative of the American Arleigh Burke Flight 1 destroyer. Derivative. That is a polite way of saying they gutted the original design. Japanese engineers looked at the American plans and decided they weren't enough. They expanded the superstructure. They raised the bridge. They redesigned nearly 40% of the ship's internal volume. They utilized a material called high tensile steel 80. It's lighter, stronger, and specifically treated to manipulate radar waves. When you look at the Kongō from the water, you are looking at a 10,000-ton mountain. But to a hostile radar beam, that mountain dissolves into background noise. It is a masterclass in geometric stealth. But the most unnerving alteration is the mast. The iconic lattice mast of the American ships was replaced by a heavy, imposing stealth pyramid. The official explanation? It protects the sensitive electronics from the harsh Pacific salt. But leaked schematics from 2017 suggest a different purpose. Inside that pyramid structure, tucked behind the classified composite plating, lies a structural void. A chamber that does not exist on the American version. Analysts believe this space houses a passive receiver array, a silent ear, designed to listen to frequencies that military satellites usually ignore. While the American Aegis shouts with active radar, the The Japanese Kongō is listening, and it hears everything. This ship was built to be a fortress. 90 vertical launch cells, a computerized brain that cost billions, but a fortress is useless if it cannot move. And that brings us to the engine room, to the one secret that Japan has tried hardest to bury. Because if the rumors are true, this fortress doesn't just float, it hunts. Part 3. The Ghost in the Machine. Let's talk about horsepower. If you check the public Wikipedia page for the Kongō-class, it lists a top speed of 30 knots. That is a lie. 30 knots is the cruise speed. It is the speed of a diplomat. Deep in the engine block, 4 General Electric LM2500 gas turbines generate over 100,000 shaft horsepower. According to whispers from former contractors, these turbines contain a bypass protocol known as combat overdrive. It's a feature that disables the safety governors on the compressors. When activated, it floods the combustion chambers, theoretically pushing the ship to 40, maybe 42 knots. For a destroyer, that isn't just fast, it is violent. Japan hides this capability not because it is illegal, but because if China knew the Kongō could outrun their torpedoes, the balance of power in the East China Sea would collapse overnight. But speed is primitive. The real weapon is the code. The heart of the ship is the Aegis Combat System. In the American version, the software is designed to be efficient. It filters out noise, birds, storm clouds, atmospheric glitches. It ignores them to focus on missiles. But in 2019, a massive data breach, allegedly from an NEC subcontractor, exposed a unique firmware patch installed only on Japanese ships. They call it shadow mode. While the Americans filter the noise out, the Japanese shadow mode filters the noise in. It uses a custom algorithm to analyze faint, low observable returns. It looks for things that move too fast for birds, but too erratically for missiles. And this brings us to the night of June 2018. The Kongō, DDG-173, was operating off the coast of Kochi. The Spy 1D radar picked up a contact. Velocity Mach 3+. Trajectory non-ballistic. Altitude variable. The Aegis system instantly engaged a threat lock. The fire control radar illuminated the target. The tubes were ready to open. But the captain never gave the order. 11 seconds of telemetry from that encounter were redacted from the official log. The object wasn't Chinese, it wasn't Russian, and it certainly wasn't American. The Kongō had looked into the dark, and something looked back. Some call it a glitch. Others call it the first documented engagement with a UAP. And the Kongō is the only ship on Earth built to hunt them. Part 4. The Zero Blind Zone. But to view the Kongō as a single ship is to miss the point entirely. It is not a solo act. It is a neuron in a global brain. Military strategists whisper about a concept called the Zero Blind Zone. It is a theoretical integration of American satellites, Japanese ground radar, Soryu-class submarines, and the Kongō destroyers. When 3 Kongō ships are deployed in a triad formation, their Aegis systems link together via high-bandwidth data chains. They create a 1,200-kilometer bubble of absolute omniscience. Inside this bubble, stealth is a myth. Submarines cannot hide. Hypersonic missiles cannot glide. Chinese defense analysts have a name for this phenomenon. They call it the invisible steel net. It is a wall that cannot be seen, cannot be touched, but cannot be crossed. And this brings us back to the beginning. 80 years ago, the original Kongō sank into the black water, destroyed by an enemy it couldn't see. It was a symbol of an empire that valued brute strength over awareness. But the new Japan has learned the lesson of that night. They didn't build a bigger gun. They built a bigger eye. The Kongō-class sails under a flag of peace. Its constitution forbids war. Its politicians preach defense. But as it cuts through the Pacific fog, silent and watching, carrying secrets that would make superpowers tremble, you have to ask yourself one final question. Is this ship truly a shield? Or is it the sword of a new invisible empire? Maybe the empire never really died. It just went stealth.